The ROG Ally. This is nothing new. This is a handheld PC that's been out for a while, and I say a while, a little over a year, but it's been having rotations and it's even getting new iteration very soon. So I thought, why don't I give it a try? If you guys saw my previous video of me getting this open box from Best Buy for about $380, you guys know my impressions. It's a really good deal for some still pretty reliable tech. You know, it's only a year old from this point, so them doing a revision for a bigger battery and more RAM is cool, but I don't think it's necessary. And I've had time to play around with this and have some opinions, so let's go ahead and dive into it. And here we are with the device. As I mentioned before, I've had some time to play with this thing and it's really grown on me. It is pretty different from something like the Steam Deck, which I had before, and I'll do a comparison soon. It does accomplish some of the same things, but it just kind of does it differently. And they both have features. This is not a video saying this is better, that is better. I think everything comes down to preference. And you know, it is what it is. If you like this one, get this one. If you like the other one, get the other one. Or get both, try it out, return one, I don't know. I don't control you. Now, one thing I wanna go over is the size. I don't have the exact dimensions. You guys are adults, you can pull it up. But the way it feels in the hand is nice. I'm gonna use the Steam Deck as the primary comparison. But size-wise, we can see the Steam Deck is a little larger. It's longer. In terms of thinness, it's actually pretty similar. Steam Deck might be a little skinny there. But one thing that the Steam Deck has over the ROG Ally is the grips. So the Ally kind of grips at the end and allows these three fingers to hold on to here, while the Steam Deck, it's like a full hand rest and it feels more comfortable in the hands and is easier to grip. That being said, the Ally is not uncomfortable at all, but I've kind of gotten used to the thumbsticks being here and my hands just resting up top, whereas the Ally has more of the traditional Xbox control layout with here, and it kind of makes your thumb kind of slide down. Again, not a big deal, and it takes some getting used to, but I think I got used to it. Weight-wise, these are about, honestly, the same weight. Steam Deck might be a little heavier. This just feels a little more compact and denser because of the size. For the screen, let's go ahead and turn both on so you can see. So screen size, it's pretty similar in terms of dimensions. The ROG Ally comes with a 1080 120 Hz screen, whereas the LCD Steam Deck has a 800p 60 FPS screen. Now I know the OLED has a nicer screen, but we're not using that, so we're not going to compare it. But again, in terms of touchscreen capacity and how they move and feel, it feels really good. I do notice the 120 Hz refresh rate definitely makes it feel smoother when you're swiping and doing things, and it is noticeable. So we can go here, turn that brightness up. Yeah, really no complaints here. Thumbstick travel feels very close on both of them. I would say the Steam Deck feels a little tighter compared to the Ally. D-pad, I kind of like this D-pad a little more than this one. This one's not bad. It's doable. One thing that the Ally doesn't have is the touchpads, and sometimes that's useful when you want to navigate on the desktop, which is definitely more prominent with a Windows 11 device than something that goes straight to Steam OS. But you can navigate without it via touchscreen, using the right thumbstick, so everything maps pretty well. Moving on to the UI, I really like this UI. You have these buttons here, so you have the start and select here. You have the Armory Crate shortcut, which allows you to go and configure everything. You have a games library that automatically adds games to it. There's content here that you can go check out, but it's really convenient at a click of a button. And then you have a little command center option here where you can go and change anything you want. The performance, you can pull up the keyboard, show the desktop, record your screen, mic, and this is also customizable via here. If you go here, you can go and add whatever you want in the command center right here, which is really cool. Steam has something similar. You have this little sidebar right here, but it's just not the same in terms of customization. You have the options here where you can go ahead and change things. And it is really nice and it's intuitive based off what they've added and what you can add. But off the bat, I kind of favor the Ally with that shortcut right there. Now, both of these things are computers, so you can customize them all you want. And I haven't done too much to the deck, so it's pretty stock. I've just run a few things, cryo utilities, and have some emulators on it, but these are coming pretty stock. I haven't gone ahead and upgraded too much. I do have a micro SD card in here. The Ally itself has a reputation of burning SD cards, especially when you're running the turbo mode, which is 25 watts, but I don't really plan on doing that much unless it's plugged into the wall. And I'm not gonna use an SD card unless I need to, But if I do, I've heard that some people don't experience that. I don't know, whatever. So we did the Steam Deck comparison. Let's compare this to some other devices that you guys might have. Up first, we have the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and this is usually the Pro dimension that even the 15 is gonna have. And you know, I mean, it's a phone. It's thinner, this is longer, but it's not a huge beast. You can definitely fit this to go, not in your pocket, but you know. After that, we have the Analog Pocket. This, I would say this is a premium device, and it's not something you really want to put in your pocket, but definitely still smaller than this. And then we have the PlayStation Vita. This is, I mean, this is a little boy, but definitely a lot more screen on this. And then we have just random devices. These are all small, portable, can fit in your pocket, easier to take around compared to something, which is the real comparison of another handheld PC. But overall, the dimensions are good. This is something you can put a case on and throw in your backpack and not even worry about it. So enough comparisons, let's get onto the device itself. Now the device, like I mentioned before, fits really well in the hands. It's ergonomic, it's good enough with the grips in the back. You can get a case if you want something a little more beefier to hang on to, but this isn't bad. I might check out a case in the future, but one thing you have conveniently here is a fingerprint sensor. So you can go ahead and hold it to turn the device on from sleep. And then from here, you can either swipe up or just use a fingerprint sensor to sign in. So we're gonna do that. And we're into the desktop. Windows 11, you've seen this before. You either love it or you hate it, or you're okay with it. I'm okay with it, it's not bad. This is a Windows device, and Windows has updates, and they hide it a little worse than Steam Deck. When you first get the device and boot it up for the first time, you're gonna have a lot of Windows updates and Windows setup. The setup process isn't too crazy. It does take some time. You do have to kind of filter it based off your preference, or if you want to boot it from a device that you already have. I just do a fresh start every time, and then I just add things because I want to customize these to how I want them used. Once you do sign in though, you are going to want to update everything. You're going to want to update all your updates here that you have for Windows. You can also go to Armory Crate with this little button right here and update everything from here. Like I mentioned prior, the addition of these buttons compared to the Steam Deck is clutch. Like I can just go customize things from here, do it from there. Go to Armory Crate, change some settings in here, do it from there. And you can do a lot from here. You can even go ahead and configure the RAM being used from the GUI without having to go to the BIOS. GUI is the graphical user interface compared to command line, or I guess the BIOS is a GUI too, but we're not gonna get that deep. The experience I've had with gaming on this is actually really, really cool. I have a few different type of games we can play. One of them will be Battlefield 2042, which doesn't run on Steam Deck unless you do some tweaking. I have some Game Pass games, and I have some demos from Steam. So we'll take a quick look at those. This isn't gonna be a gameplay showcase. I'll make separate videos like I normally do, but just to show you how things look and how they behave. Apart from updating everything, there are a few settings you can go ahead and tweak to customize it even more. I would just recommend using the My Asus app. This thing will tell you everything about your device, and it will even tell you what to update if you need to update. So there's a system update here tab, and you can update your system. It's gonna check. My last check was June 14th. So if there is something, you can just do it from here. And this is also where you can configure any settings that you may want to customize regarding your device. And it's just a nice overall place. Now, this is something you have to make an account for. So keep that in mind. Just keep track of all the things you're making. Everything needs an account these days, so you can't really avoid it. So let's start with Game Pass first. Now, Game Pass is one of the main reasons I wanted this, because I can't play it on my Steam Deck and I want to access the service that I'm paying for. So I started Halo Wars, I downloaded it. If there's ever an issue or you're ever wondering why something doesn't work, take a second, make sure the actual application, whether it be Xbox or the system itself, is updated. And if that doesn't still work, like for example, I had an issue where Game Pass games would download, but when I ran them, they wouldn't play. So I went ahead and I did like a factory reset, but I didn't delete the content, just the system rebooted, and that fixed it. So we'll go ahead, and again, we can turn on the monitoring from here. We have minimal monitoring, it has a whole row, or you can have it here. So let's do this one. We'll just go to campaign. We'll continue the campaign. And I'll show you the settings afterwards.
Let's just take one last look.
We're on performance mode, so we could go one up or we could go one down. But I usually like to stay in performance mode. We have refresh rate set to 120, 1080p for resolution. This screen just looks so much better than the stock Steam Deck. Can't speak for the OLED yet, but okay, we'll skip this. I've seen this before.
Serena, we need to reestablish Alpha Base before we can proceed with the mission.
So now we're actually at 120 out of the cutscene. A lot of fluid movement going on here. I've gone through the Armory Crate app and remapped these back buttons as well. So we have A button here, B button here. And this is actually my first time playing Halo Wars. Pretty dope. Yeah, we can see performance is pretty well. You have a battery indicator here which gives you an actual percentage, how many watts are being used, which is pretty helpful. And then you have a real-time clock, so it's telling you right now it's 15:43, so it's 3:43 from when I'm recording this. But that real-time clock is actually really useful, and also the battery percentage. This thing does drain pretty fast depending on what you're using it for. For a game like this, I can imagine it lasting close to an hour. I haven't actually tested that yet. I will test some in the future, but for a AAA game, you're definitely going to need to have a power source nearby. Like I have a cord right here that I can just plug in. Yeah, nothing crazy going on so far, but even when there's combat on the screen, it's not a crazy game. There's a lot happening, but in terms of CPU, GPU usage, you usually want that GPU to do most of the work. So let's get out of Halo Wars, and you know, it's just a Xbox game, so if you want to, I'm not gonna save it, but you can just go here, hold, close window, and then we're out of that. And you can always go back to a different Game Pass game, download that. Black Ops 6 is coming, so definitely gonna play Call of Duty on here as well. See how that runs. Now let's get out of Xbox and go to some of the Steam games. Steam, you can always install it to the desktop. I kind of did that on accident, but let's go ahead and run Battlefield 2042. And unlike the Steam Deck, you don't have to go around with these background app installers. It's a desktop. You just go to the EA website, download the launcher. You just go to Epic Games, download the launcher. And it's just more convenient. I won't say it's easier because it's really not that difficult in the Steam Deck, but it just makes it so much more streamlined. And if you have to troubleshoot, you can troubleshoot the application itself instead of having the Steam Deck and going, okay, well, I don't know how this launcher actually works, so I don't know what the disconnect is. This is it. Okay, so we're in Battlefield, automatically mapping to the controller. You can already see this battery percentage is dripping fast. So this is definitely one of those games that you want to have something plugged in. And right now, I believe we're still running on 15 watts. I recommend actually, let's run at 15 watts and let's see how it looks after we change that. So let's go breakthrough. Let's just play that. And we're getting about 30 FPS right now in the settings. We'll see how it runs later. Okay, we're loaded in the game. Game is starting up. And I am playing just with bots right now. I will do a separate video with online play to show you how that is. So we're about 42 FPS, battery's at 90%. I'll show you the settings real quick. So we're at 1080p, 60 Hertz. I brought it down for 120. I guess we could do 120, but that might make things a little crazy because we're not hitting that high anyway. So we're gonna lock it at, actually, I don't know why I killed myself. We're gonna lock it at 60. And yeah, we have field of view, everything right here. So let's go ahead and see the difference between these two settings. Moving around at mid 30s to, I would say mid to high 30s. Okay, so we got a little bit of lag there. Okay. So let's go ahead now and boost it to turbo mode. So turbo mode, automatically running better. We're close to high 50s now, mid to high 50s. Depends on what's on the screen. Now that battery percentage is going to be eaten up a lot faster, but you have that customizability where if you're playing a lower demanding game, you don't need all that power. You go to something like Battlefield or Call of Duty, you can kind of blast that up. And let's say the battery's going down enough, go ahead, grab a power source, plug it in once you find that plug, and you're golden. You have nothing to worry about. It's already charging right now, it's on power delivery. You can just play to your heart's content. So Battlefield runs great. It is a pretty demanding game, AAA game. So the fact that we can boost it up to about 25, 30 watts, you can definitely go higher if you go ahead and customize the manual settings, but just based off the setting right here, it's 25 watts and it runs great. Let's take it back down to 15 and let's go to the next game. Next up, we have a not AAA game, an indie game, Wizard Legend 2 demo. We can look at the settings right here. We're running at 720. Let's boost that up to 1080 and quality preset, let's put it to high, 30 FPS, let's go 120. And then apply all those, cool, start the game. So again, we're on the 15 watt middle ground for performance. It's about 42 FPS. Let's see how it is when we get into the actual game. So we're in the game, moving around, going about 42 FPS, getting an average of that. We're getting pretty solid performance. Let's see if we go ahead and change this back to low. See what happens here. Game doesn't look that different, but we're already in the 70s now. So again, it's a PC game and you can customize things to your choosing. If you don't think that graphics are that important on a screen this small, you don't really have to do it. Like 1080p at this size looks awesome. I even thought 720 or 800 from the Steam Deck looks great too. So it's really just preference. But yeah, let's actually see. Let's go to the silent mode and see what happens with performance. So silent mode is taking us down to 36 again. But what if we go to settings here? Take it down to, let's do 720 and we'll cap it at 60 FPS. We'll apply that. Okay, now we're at 40s, mid 40s, 50s. Yeah, and we're on the lower settings. So if you want to run it like this, use your battery and just play, it's gonna last longer. And that's just a quick little run through of gaming on this thing. Like I mentioned before, I'm gonna make videos dedicated to actual games. So if you guys wanna see games running on this ROG Ally Z1 Extreme, let me know and I'll make videos of those. But apart from that, this is just a computer. If you wanna get a wireless keyboard, mouse, and a dock, like I have a JSOX dock that I use for the Steam Deck, you can use this too. Plug this in here, you have some USB ports in the back, an HDMI out. I mean, I've seen people use this with an external GPU or without as a dedicated PC. So it's definitely a very travel-friendly computer. That's essentially it, guys. This is the first impressions and a review. As time goes on, I'm going to take notes on this thing and I'm going to tell you guys updates on what I've experienced. But so far, so good. I mean, the Steam Deck has been my go-to console to play with when I'm on the couch, traveling sometimes. But again, if you're getting a handheld PC, you're gonna expect that the battery's not gonna be the greatest. So you want to play somewhere with an outlet. I know the X model of the ROG Ally is coming out, but this thing right now is having some crazy sales, especially if you get a used one. This used one that I got, I mean, I guess the only used portion that you can see is some scratches in the D-pad, and that's very hard to see because it's glossy, but everything else is flawless. Like I had to rub off some smudges, but there's no scratches, there's nothing. The thumbsticks are good. I recalibrated everything, which is everything that's in here in the software. It's awesome. So I'm very excited to use this. Now, the SD card slot is an issue. You have the SD card slot right here, and you have the heat vents right here. So when this thing starts cooking and it gets hot, SD card's gonna get hot too, and that's why they're getting fried. But there's a way around that. you can go ahead and just swap out the M.2 in the back. This is holding a 2230, which is the small M.2 slots. There is an adapter where it kind of makes an L shape, and you can put it at 2280, which is the longer M.2s. They're usually less expensive, and I'm actually gonna make a video on that. I bought everything. It'll be cool. But yeah, this is a computer that you can hold and play like the Steam Deck. I'm not gonna make it complicated. I am going to try to show you as much as I can through my experiences. If I notice something bad, I'm gonna tell you. Like when this thing wouldn't let me log into Game Pass, I did some Googling, I figured it out, it works now. Normal troubleshooting is necessary with things like this. Even with things like this, even though this one's a little less troubleshooting. This one, you kinda gotta get familiar with fixing your own issues, because customer service, in general, not just with Asus, in general is not always the best. And it's not always gonna get you the result that you want with the answer that you'll get. Yeah, I mean, things, you can like change the lighting with the thumbsticks. You can change the speed of it, the color of it. I don't know, dude. It's just a lot of customization. I usually don't like RGB, but the fact that I can change something about it is like, oh, cool, a light. I'm interested to know what you guys think. There's a bunch of people with the ROG Ally. If you have one, please let me know your comments. If there's an issue you're running into, let me know about it so I'm aware too. I'm a new owner and I wanna learn more, and then I wanna teach more as well. If there's any questions, please drop it down in the comments and ask me. If I don't know it, I will look it up and find it for you. That being said, me Googling it is the same as you Googling it, so. But overall, very excited to have this. I'm going to kind of make a transition over from the Steam Deck to this for a little bit and play this a lot. And especially with a lot of these games coming to Game Pass, this will be my go-to Game Pass machine. This is just, you know, this is the original baby, and then this is the new stepchild who might get more love for a little bit, but we'll see how long that's for. Look out for more content with the Ally. Steam Deck is still gonna get content as well, but accessories and mods and changing the VRAM, all of that. Look forward to that, and I'm excited to make videos on this. And again, like I mentioned, if you guys have any games that you want to see, drop it down in the comments, and I'll try to make gameplay videos of that as well to show you performance. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Very happy with my purchase so far. I'm happy that I actually took that step that I was holding off for so long, but the price justified it. If you liked the video, drop a like. If you want to see more content in the future, consider subscribing. Or don't, but I mean, like, I'm building an army. Look at all these gadgets. You can see more of these. No. Yeah, you don't have to subscribe, I don't care, but it'd be cool. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.